Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Game Vault podcast stream. This is the news hour. We do this every Friday night at 9 p.m. A little late today for two reasons. One, the NHL draft is going on, and the Flyers were somewhere middle of the first round, so took almost to 9 o'clock for them to pick. And number two, as those of you that came early realized, I didn't remember I had a green shirt on. So if you're watching the Twitch archives, or if you are watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast and you want to look at the Twitch archives, for the next 2 weeks, I think you will see Floating Head Mark open the pod. I might leave it up forever, who knows. But yeah, the first 10 seconds were just me with the floating head because I had a green shirt on. So, that is how my Friday is going. How's everyone doing out there? So this week's a little light on the games at the beginning here. I think the main thing that I have done this week is I essentially played more of the Be a Pro mode in NHL 24. Can't remember if I played that before the podcast last week and this week. It's pretty okay, but you know, it's like a lot of things where you get penalized for things you really can't control, and especially when you're playing like at the junior level and stuff like that, like the college equivalent. You're at the mercy of your teammates being able to score on the passes you make, or giving you passes so you can score. So sometimes kind of hard. I went from being projected as the number 1 overall pick to getting picked 10th because I had one bad game against the best team in juniors. Not bad game, I just didn't score. Finished with an A grade for the game, but just didn't score. And so I dropped the 10th. So I don't know. And while I was doing that and being a casual gamer, Night Duck, Jonathan, in our chat here and friend of the podcast, has beaten all the bosses in the Elden Ring DLC. We'll get to that later, the DLC for Elden Ring, as that is in the news. But, yeah. And, yeah, playing it while at work, as we all do. But, yeah, so playing some NHL. And the other game I'm playing that I didn't show up on stream was I have been playing my save in Elden Ring. The DLC got me wanting to jump back in. And I realized immediately, I think I'm a smarter gamer than I was when that game first came out. Because I realized that I put most of my points in the wrong place. I have 30 intelligence right now. I'm only level 52. So I have 30 intelligence right now. And the highest spell I have only requires like 21 or 24. So yes, I'm probably getting a little more damage being that high. But the flip side of being 6 to 9, nice, levels above where I need to be. In terms to cast those spells and to wield my thing, which I think is like a 12 anyway. My vigor, which is my life bar, is really low. It's 16. So I gotta go find the thing. I don't have any of the things that you can go to the person at the academy to respec. I gotta go find one of those and respec. And I'll probably just drop down to like 26, get vigor up to 20, and then we'll go from there, and then basically focus on vigor and stamina at this point. I might drop down the thing that gives you a lot of FP a little bit, maybe get a couple more levels out of vigor, but we'll see. I just need more life, because the one thing I noticed is that I am not great at dodging or not getting hit. I suck at doing sword and shield, so I play it more like Bloodborne, essentially, in terms of dodging, and if I do have my shield out, my very bad attempts to parry. But the one positive thing where I think I've become a better gamer, which I think is from like watching people like Jonathan play the game, and and streamers and stuff, is I think I've gotten a little more confident in when I'm out there, what I'm doing, and like sort of, figuring out how to avoid certain things. So I beat a couple minor bosses since I've gotten back into it. I summoned someone to help with the one, but all he did was basically take aggro. Didn't even do much damage, and I was able to shoot my magician stuff from far. So, yeah, I'm probably going to jump back into Elden Ring after the podcast today. So, be on the lookout for that when I update you guys all next week on if I've gotten any further. Yeah, and besides that, been playing. Persona's gotten really, really good. We had that story changing moment that I was talking about. That all Persona games have what I call, there's 3 moments in each game. This one may actually have 4, because I think there's going to be another one coming, but they all have 3 moments in it. There's the first moment when you're learning everything, and then that first moment is when you hit this is the real story, and then you get to that. I think it's after the second palace in 5. I think it's after the second TV, in second or third TV in 4. And in this one, it's when you find out about the 3 other Persona users in the world, and that they want the opposite goals of you. So, you essentially learn that, and then the second twist in 3 here, and sorry for spoilers, I'm not going to be deep into spoilers, but second twist is when you find out the real reason behind, what happened 10 years ago. And you I can read this because I've played a lot of video games, but you can see the reason why all the people are connected. Even though they don't seem to really know each other, but there's a connection between everybody involved in the game. And they always have that moment. I call it the Final Fantasy VIII moment, in that when you find out very late in that game that you were, all in an orphanage together. Like, this is that to the better level. Like, 8, that's a totally out of nowhere weird thing. But that's the second thing that happens here. And then it should have been right before we get to the end game. You have another twist. Maybe this is like a minor one, but we just had another minor one just happen on the last stream. Where, we were affected by our secret bad guy, who I am not going to be in my party anymore. He is done. If you want to see Mark with a lack of empathy, watch the end of the last stream. I was answering every questions in the, fuck him. And, yeah. So, I'm going to be forced to have him on my team, but he's not going to participate. He's going to be such a low level compared to everyone else. I hope they don't force me to use him. I'm going to have one save all the way back to this decision where it's going to be like, fuck. I'm going to have to... Oh, man. I'm going to have to go all the way back, aren't I? Yeah. But hopefully they don't force me to use him. Or maybe I can overcome using him. If I'm forced to. Like, the other people are so much better. But, yeah. So, Persona 3 is getting to a good point. I'm really excited about it. Then, as I said, Eternal Nights comes after that. So, that's the next game. And then then Mario, we got all the way to Bowser. Literally needed, hit him with 2 more eggs, and we would have won. It felt like the end of Jaws, for those of you that were here for the New Year's Eve stream. Got to the very end, and just couldn't seal the deal, because it took me a while to figure out exactly how to do it. And so we're probably going to beat that in the first 15 minutes of 15 to 30 minutes of the next stream, depending on which door I get on the roulette of doors when you first get into Bowser's Castle. Yeah, so we're gonna play through that, and if there's any, if I beat it so quickly, and then if there's extra levels, we'll go ahead and do that as well. So we should be finishing up that, and then that means next Friday I will have off stream. I will have Tom spin his wheel and grab me another game to play. Nightmare Cart. Correct. Damn it, Jonathan, stop spoiling things for the audience. Shh. Yeah, so we'll move on to another retro game. That will be my game in the in-between weeks. Well, I'll be playing it all the time until Tom comes back. And when Tom comes back, it'll be Tom 1 week, me the next, Tom, me on Mondays with retro games. And then we announced I was having internet and power issues during high wind storm thing in my area. We announced our Sunday game after some deliberation with Night Duck. We've decided to play Nier Automata. And I'm going to pronounce that wrong until I hear someone else say it to me. Yeah, so we're going to play Nier. And what I've decided Sundays to be, I think I might have announced this last week, or I said it on I said it somewhere on the internet. I think I figured out what each day is going to be. So Fridays is News Hour, plus any watch-alongs that happen on Fridays. Saturday is Automata. Got it. Automata. Haktua. Fridays is the News Hour. Saturdays is JRPGs. Or essentially. I have a third game chosen, which ties into the channel for After Eterna Nights. And then Sunday is going to be the game in the backlog that I really fills a hole in my gaming knowledge, which is what me and Night Duck decided, that of all the stuff I played and things I talk about, I really need to play Nier to kind of just talk about that stuff and sort of understand all of that. And I agree with him. It's a game I really have been wanting to play. So Sundays will be that game. So that'll be all different kind of genres. And it'll be newer games. I would say like PS3 forward. We'll do for those games. Probably PS4 forward, essentially, because I don't know if my totally legal PS3 on this computer can handle being streamed. So yeah, and that's it for the video games this week. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. Summer's gonna get nuts. We have 4th of July next week. I will have a stream on Friday. Saturday, probably not. We may do a special 4th of July Persona stream because I am off for the 4th and the 5th. So we might do a special 4th of July stream on Wednesday. And then because Saturday is your boy's birthday, and as I do, I celebrate it with friend of the podcast, Anthony from TC Tam, because his birthday is coming up on Tuesday. So we have a birthday week, and we tend to celebrate it together. And then we'll be here on Sunday, of course, for Nier. Second the second part of Nier's Let's Play. So, yeah. And then I think the only other time we'll have schedule interruption is the end of July. I'm going to Pittsburgh Thursday through Sunday, so there'll be no streams that week. We'll do the Monday stream, and then no News Hour, unless if Tom wants to yell into a microphone for like 20 minutes and put it up into the podcast. So that's it. And then we may have some interruptions that next week and possibly the week after, or just the week after. Because if my niece wins at regionals, they go to the nationals, which I think is a week or two after that. Not entirely sure. But I'll keep you all updated. But for now, at the end of July, there's going to be nothing Thursday through Sunday. All right. So let's get into the news. We'll start off with some, terrible news. And probably not. I should have made sure. Hold on a second, everyone. We're going to go back to Big Mark. And Mark forgot to do one thing. And make sure the window captures were good. And there we go. There we go. And some, like I said, disturbing news. I pulled up the latest article here just so we can talk about it for a little bit. We're not going to spend too much time on him because he does not deserve to have too much of our time of our show up here. But it is big news in the gaming world, and it would be behoove of me to not mention it. Dr. Disrespect, Call of Duty streamer, and weird-looking idiot that you see down there, was banned from Twitch back in, I think, 2020 for reasons unknown, and it came to light recently that it was because he was texting with a minor through Twitch's Whisper system. You had a lot of people defend him with the innocent and proven guilty stuff, and then he came out on Twitter and basically admitted it. Didn't say how bad it got, said that it sometimes slipped to inappropriate, and that was just enough. As you see, YouTube has suspended his monetization. His gaming group dropped him. He's lost other sponsorships. It's basically, he's done in terms of mainstream stuff. Now, he might come back in a couple months after this has died down a little bit and get a bunch of his, terrible bro people that might still like him will follow him, and he'll be able to make some money. But his thing of being in, NBA 2K and any Call of Duty stuff and doing stuff with the San Francisco 49ers, all that stuff's gone. It's done. That part of his career is over. And, it just goes to show you that it's one thing on here, and I would hope you guys out there are not doing this with me. Never really get into a, parasocial relationship with anybody you watch doing content. I know it's hard. I mean, look at this. But just, some of these people are just terrible people. And, it's just, I say this in anything, whether it's, get into real talk here, whether it's video games, sports, movies, politics, anything, don't build your life around a person that you do not know personally. It is a very, very bad idea, and it leads to you possibly looking like an idiot, I would say 95% of the time. That person could end up doing something like this. You could have 34 felony counts charged, convicted of. You could end up raping women, as some sports athletes have done. You could end up beating women, as some athletes and actors have done. Never make your whole personality about one person. And I've seen a lot of internet stuff where the people that have made themselves basically Dr. Disrespect people, fans and all just, want to believe him to no end and not believe anyone else because they feel like they are nothing if he is not around and popular. So, that's all really to say about this. Writing should have been on the wall when he got caught accidentally filming in a bathroom at E3 or PAX or wherever that was. So, good riddance to Dr. Disrespect. And speaking of people related to Dr. Disrespect, Call of Duty streamer got banned from Twitch. because he's a transphobe. So we can just leave it there. He's um, sort of on the same level as Doctor Disrespect, and Fazai Clan and all that stuff. So yeah, just terrible time for terrible people, which is great. For those of us that knew these people were awful people from the beginning. Moving on to better news. And Tom, I hope you're here. I don't think I've been more excited for a video game that I don't care if it's good or not. I just want to play the video game. I have a feeling you were that way about Remake and Rebirth. I didn't get to that level. But NCAA, College Football 25, I just want to play it. I don't care if it's a Madden reskin and when you play the games, or if it feels like, 90s PlayStation 1 Madden. I could care less. I watched this Sights and Sounds deep dive trailer, and I literally got chills. And got close to the welling up, like, crying thing, because it has been 11 years, and everything they have shown from a, aesthetics thing is that they really get it. They really, really get it. And they know what they're going for, and even if they didn't do what I had suggested when the game was first announced last year, and just walked over to the FC people and was like, how do you do your crowd stuff? Because that is all they literally need to get to separate themselves from Madden. And it looks like from this stuff, they have done so much more. Couple of the highlights. One, they literally went to every school that's in the game and used ESPN game footage, tapes from the universities, anything to get unique crowd cheers, how the crowd sort of reacts to things. Like, they went deep dive into making it individual per stadium. Now, I'm sure there's going to be recycled stuff that happens, every stadium reacts the same way to certain things. But there are going to be moments that are very specific to you, whether you went to Georgia or you went to Kennesaw State, or any of the other schools in between, in terms of, not saying skill-wise, terms of, level of school. You will have something in this game. They have taken all of the popular things, like all the chants, signs, hand signals, the U, and, hook 'em horns, and all that stuff. They don't have horns down, which is a disappointment, but I guess they didn't want to piss anybody off. And they just got it. They showed the very popular thing from my alma mater, Penn State, where after a kickoff, the crowd, it was against Michigan, crowd was just electric. They played Mo Bamba, the crowd got even more loud, and then to the point where I think Michigan got a delay a game. I don't know if they got the timeout off, but they literally recreated that with Mo Bamba in this game to show that they just got it. Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. I don't care if Ultimate Team's in. I just want to play Dynasty, hear this crowd shit. I don't care about the rankings they put out. People were fighting over the rankings. I mean, it's kind of bullshit that Texas A&M is the number one hardest place to play. But that's not here nor there. And there has to be Texas A&M people on the staff, because there's zero way that is the hardest place to play in college football. Or else Texas A&M would be winning national championships. I don't like them. The Shoe is better place. Big House is a little overrated, but, the Shoe's a better place. Alabama's a better place. Hell, Florida's better than Texas A&M. But, sure, whatever. A&M. That's my rant. But, I think it's going to be great in that sense. I am going to play so much of this game. I'm probably going to end up getting it on PS5, just because I think the decision has come down to, I might have to talk over this with Tom. It's got to be whichever one of the two systems is probably an easier system to take to Pittsburgh. Will be the one that I will do, because I'm going to do softball, get lunch or dinner depending on how many games they have in a day, and then go play NCAA for the rest of the day on Friday, and most of Thursday when I get there. So we'll figure it out. We'll talk about that off stream and all. But yeah, so I am pumped about this. I suggest you watch this video. This video is amazing. It quelled any fears I had of this game, in terms of being bad or not. And now we moved on to Elden Ring. So it's got its first patch a couple days ago. It addressed the bugs in the PC, ray tracing and stuff like that. It looks like, they did some balancing issues, which Night Duck may have better idea for exactly what was done to this. I think part of it made it a little bit easier. I think one of the things I heard, and I might be completely wrong, about this. Ooh, get that ad off my screen. Leave my screen, Pure Leaf. Is that they essentially, I think they made it parts of it slightly easier just for like all the new game, like the high new game people, because some of the stuff I heard was that if you were new game like +6 or 7 or whatever it is, like a couple of the bosses were just impossible. Like there was no way to beat them, because it levels up with you. But yeah, it looks like this was a rousing success, because as the next story says here, I'll have my thoughts on that too. These games don't have a difficulty level because they are supposed to be hard and teach you have to learn how to play the game. You have to learn boss patterns, you have to learn what works, and you have to be able to be willing to experiment with different things to figure out ways to make it easier. Figuring out a cheese, which means a couple weapons or over-leveling yourself that make a fight easier, is part of the game. Summons are part of the game, calling your friends in is part of the game. Doing all that stuff to beat it is fine. It would be... The people that complain about the difficulty are the ones that just either don't like things to be difficult. I know I play a lot of games on easy, and that's just because in the games that I do play it on easy, I just want to get... I'm just there for the story. Like, I think I'm playing normal in Persona because I know how to play Persona. I would never play Persona on hard because that game isn't worth playing on hard, in my opinion. Hard brings nothing to the game. These games are meant to challenge you. And as I said, I think the people that were complaining had gotten so overpowered in Elden Ring that they were just walking through people by the end, that they get to the DLC, which is scaled for them now, and they're getting 1 and 2 shot it because they're used to just taking a hit from a boss and being able to do their shit and win. And now that boss hits them so hard that they're done. Even with a life bar as big as this guy's, it's on my screen right now. It's just, yeah. These are the only types of games, and maybe this is the one opinion where maybe I'm wrong and off base a little bit. Souls games, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, those games are meant to be hard. They're meant to teach you how to, figure out how to beat the bosses. Yeah. And that's the thing. They added a new leveling thing in here that they want you to explore and find those, and don't just go boss, 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 boss. Um, and by Skibbity levels, they actually do have a name in there, but I love that people have taken that as the nickname. Um, you know, they want you to do that instead of bashing your head against a boss. Um, I think the equivalent of this is in an old game like Punch Out. Punch Out, the way to play the game the right way is to learn the bosses and beat them. But you have to, it's just a boss rush. You just have to learn the patterns and you'll end up beating them. But on the other hand, if you play it long enough and you just try things and experiment, you might find the cheese. Like, I couldn't beat Soda Pop in Punch Out for 25 years. I look up somebody showing you how to, how to sort of cheese him a bit. And it's not like any kind of cheat moves. It's just sort of, instead of waiting for his punches, you draw his punches out. And that's how you dodge and then be able to hit him. And I'm like, fuck. And I did it, and I beat him in the first round. And I can do it just about every time now. Second Bald Bull, different story. Can't really do that strategy yet. But the thing is that in these games, you might learn the same thing. You might go, oh, fuck. If I've been sitting back waiting for this boss's attacks, maybe if I go at him and draw out his attacks, then it'll make it easier on me. And that's what it's supposed to do. And just a final point from Night Duck here. The final boss is the most bullshit fight. That's the other thing I've heard from this game. And everyone hates it. So it's been the two things where there's people like me and Jonathan, the people that are like, it's supposed to be fucking difficult, get good, learn how to play. And then there's the other people that are pissed off that just wanted a good time in Elden Ring. But where the, Predator handshake meme moment comes is that both sides think the final boss is bullshit. And I have not played it yet, but I have seen a couple people talk about it, and it seems to be consensus that it's bullshit, which is funny. But yeah, so Elden Ring, they made it a little bit easier here. We vented a little bit about difficulty. The other thing here is this incredible thing that's on the screen. The DLC sold 5 million copies in 3 days. I mean, it's just... this game must be making certain developers just pull their hair out, saying, how can this kind of game just do this? And while they're failing, to get these numbers. It's just amazing. 5 million for a DLC in 3 days is ridiculous. So I can't wait. Yeah, it's the one time where I use that phrase, Jonathan, get good. Is that is what this game is made for. At least with first-person shooters, you can fuck around and not have to get good as long as you don't have voice chat on and still have a good fucking time. I do that. I've gotten better. Not good, but I've gotten better by listening to people like Night Duck. I've gotten better at Call of Duty and other first-person shooters because of that. But in Elden Ring, that is the whole point of the game. And that's why it doesn't have a difficulty level. It is a game that rewards you for keeping at it. And, that's why victories feel so good in that game. You get that last hit and your hands go up in the air like, yeah, I did it. So, yeah. So that's our Elden Ring moment here. 5 million copies in 3 days is ridiculous. Moving on to another game that's near and dear to my heart. The original Life is Strange developers have delayed their new game, Lost Records, which was supposed to come out around the same time as the new Max Life is Strange game by Deck 9. So Dotnod had moved their game to early 2025 so that the pessimistic part of my brain says they saw this game come out and was like, all right, good. The audience will buy this game, and then we can delay it, say something like this, that we're delaying it for the good of the fans, and we get 3 more months to polish up our game to look better than their game. That is the pessimistic, cynic side of me is saying why they did this. But, they're just playing it off as, we want to give both games adequate time to shine and all that, which may very well be true, but like I said, my brain is immediately going to, their game wasn't finished yet. This is a unique way to delay a game and not get people pissed at you. But I'm looking forward to both of these games, and I'm glad that I don't have to make a choice now between them. So, good on you, Donut. So, for those of you that are into these type of games, you will get to enjoy both, because I'm sure Double Exposure is not going to be so long that it will last into early 2025 for you. Especially since they're not releasing it episodically like they did the first Life is Strange, which I think might have been the best way to ever release a game like that, because we talked to the people that I knew playing it at the time talked about it after every episode, like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Did you see what happened here? Oh jeez, not there. Okay, gotta play it again. That was such a unique thing to do, and I wish they would still do it. All right, and on to other funny things. Talking about a person that I would like to not be around anymore in terms of popularity. Not death. I don't wish death on anybody except maybe the people we talked about earlier. But you now get to murder Connor McDavid in Hitman. Hitman's, elusive targets have always been fun. They had Gary Busey and Gary Cole at one point. Now Conor McGregor. Anytime pop a celebrity in there and you get the idea to kill them. But yes, being able to murder Conor McGregor seems like a really, really fun idea. He is called the Disruptor, which is fun. But yeah, I am excited for this target. I haven't touched Hitman in a while. I may jump back into it just for this elusive target. Yep. Exactly, Night Duck. This was just a fun story. We're not going to go much deep into this, but I found this headline fucking great. So Payday 3, Payday's a pretty decent, game if you want to play with your friends and stuff like that. And, it's getting an offline mode so that you can just play with, 3 bots. But it requires you to be online. And it runs worse than the online version of the game. But it will work. That's their thing. I guess if you want a way to force people to continue playing it online, this is one way to do it, is make the offline mode basically unplayable. But yeah, that headline, I just had to have it in here. I didn't read much into the story. But, yeah, this headline is just great. I'll read it word for word. Payday 3 finally getting offline mode, in quotes, but it requires online to play and runs worse than normal. Subhead, it will work, though. Great. Mwah, chef kiss of a headline. There. Alright, so, Capcom announced the showcase. It's called Capcom Next. It's going to be a 25-minute thing on July 1st, so next Monday, or on Monday actually. So we'll be watching this on Monday, and it'll feature 3 games: Dead Rising remaster, which seems like a really good idea. Path of the Goddess, and the Resident Evil 7 iPhone, iPad, and Mac. So really, we're just there for the first 2. I'll sit through the rest, but yeah. So just wanted to really bring this up to just let you know that that's the next video thing we're doing. Here is watching over this. Um, and finally, as always, we announce on these. I'm just going to close these out. We do our. I think we did Xbox last week. If not, we'll do that next week. If it's announced, I think we did it last week. But the PlayStation Plus games for July. Yeah, we'll just go to the list down here. I didn't even put a list. Oh no, there it goes. So, Borderlands 3, NHL 24, and Among Us will be, I guess, the games you can download if you just have the regular service, I believe is how it works. And if you haven't already, you can, until July 1st, you'll be able to get SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, AEW Fight Forever, not recommend it, and Streets of Rage 4, highly recommend it for here. But yeah, so I'm probably going to download this NHL 24 just because it'll give it to me, and I don't have to worry about being signed up for Game Pass like I do to play it on my Xbox. And hell, Borderlands 3, you know, that's a good free game to have at this point. And then, you know, there'll be, you know, a bunch of other things, as usual, you know, in the other tiers, in the plus and extra and all that stuff, the extra and premium and all that. So yeah, if you're looking to play a sports game, Borderlands, or for some reason you have not played Among Us yet, get them for free on PlayStation Plus. My thought is, if you're playing PlayStation Plus, or paying for PlayStation Plus, and you want to play Among Us, you probably should have purchased Among Us by now. It is cheaper than your monthly subscription to PlayStation Plus. So, yeah. That, and the one other thing to announce, I didn't find an article on it or anything. I just know because I got an email yesterday. The Steam Summer Sale is up, so if you have games on your wish list, you've probably already been emailed. Or if not, you want to go in there and spend money on games you're never going to play, it's up. Right after this stream, I am going into buying Hearts of Iron 4, which is a World War II strategy game, where you can play as any country in the world and get yourself involved in World War II. I've heard great things about it. I want to try it out. And then there's a couple other games that are on sale that are under $10. Yeah, Among Us is like $2. You know, so if you've been waiting for it to be free on PlayStation Plus, you have severely made a bad choice in life. So you can go check that out. Steam Summer Sale on, I think Epic's probably doing something because they'd like to compete at the same time. I think Xbox is doing something. Like, everybody's now trying to compete when the Steam Summer Sale comes up, but nothing will top Steam of you buying like 6 games for under $30 and then never playing any of those games. I am the king of it. So that'll do it for our show. We'll be back tonight to watch the Capcom thing and then go into probably finishing up Super Mario World 2. And then for those of you watching on Twitch, we will be playing Persona 3 tomorrow, and Nier Automata. Let me find it. Let me scroll up because my brain is broken right now. Automata. On Sunday. And then we'll be back on Monday with a new game. The next Monday. Because, like I said, next week, nothing on Friday. Probably Thursday Persona, Friday News Hour, Sunday Nier. Saturday we're probably not going to be here. So I'll remind everybody during the streams next week and on Monday about that change in schedule. So thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye!